Welcome back to Project KALM, episode 6. My name is James. I'm your host. And the reason why I make this podcast is because for those of us who are struggling with mental health, we all have the same end goal, or essentially the same end goal, but our paths to that goal is just so drastically different per person. And today we have a special guest sharing his story on his own mental health journey. Now, without further ado, Dean, how you doing, my man?
Good, good. How about you, man?
I'm doing good. It's Friday, can't complain. And is it getting hot where you are?
It's getting really hot. It's supposed to be 100 today.
100. Oh, I'm in California, so it's like we're always in that sweet spot, and I still end up complaining. But can you give the audience a bit of a background on what you do, who you are, and also where you live? Or if you don't have to go into the details on where you live, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm in Texas, and
yeah.
I am a professional Peter Pan. I'm a kid that never wanted to grow up. I, I play poker professionally for a living, and I also do things in that world. We have a legal poker room here in Lubbock, Texas, and
Uh-huh.
I deal poker and run a room and play, and like that's kind of what my life is geared around, playing games and having fun.
That's super cool. Have you been doing that your whole life, or is this something you just recently started?
No, so I went to college and got a degree
Yeah.
and did the traditional approach to life, and I just wasn't happy, and it just didn't work for me. So had an opportunity. I always played poker like, semi-professionally and was pretty good at it. Realized that like I was winning all the little house games and stuff, and then I decided to give it a shot professionally and ended up doing really good on my first trip, and immediately gave my 2 weeks notice and quit, and I just haven't looked back since.
Nice. When was the last time you went to like Vegas and play big or something like that?
So I go every summer for the World Series.
Yeah.
This summer I haven't planned a trip yet just because of all the stuff that I was dealing with, and I just hadn't quite gotten
Hmm.
there yet. But it's definitely going to be in the cards for, no pun intended, for the near future.
Yes, sir. Well, let's get into the journey. You said your things have been kind of rough these past few months, and I know you kind of give me a
Yeah.
backstory. Uh, We've been talking about it. Let's start from the beginning. Where
Okay.
does if you had to think back, where does your mental health journey kind of start? Like at like a young age, recently?
So mine is very onset, right? I
Mhm.
might have had some issues as a younger person, but I was really good at suppressing it, and it never really got to me, right? Like I might have had some issues that I just dealt with, right? I was just strong, and I
Mhm.
didn't. I don't. Who knows? But about a little over a year ago, I had a really bad panic attack, which I had a few in my earlier, like I'm in my 40s now. I know I can't believe it. I look so young. I'm just kidding.
You do.
But I am a kid at heart. It keeps me young, you know? So in my early 20s, I had like a few panic attacks, and they were kind of like associated with like caffeine and marijuana and things that like I knew why it happened, and I just kind of pivoted, and no big deal, right? And then I just went on with the rest of my life for another 20 something years and kind of had little small bouts with anxiety, but just normal like everybody else. And then about over a year ago, I had a really bad panic attack one day, and it devastated me. I just became somebody else, man. I was living in a fear-based world and couldn't function. I couldn't do anything, man. My life completely flipped upside down. I became scared to do normal things that I was always doing, going to the grocery store, going to restaurants, going to poker games, dealing poker. Everything was impossible. And I didn't know why. And I searched and I tried so many things. trying to find answers and questions, and who knows? And I just became so overwhelmed. It started causing a bunch of other symptoms. I started having depersonalization. I started having brain fog. I felt like a zombie every day. Like I just was, in tears and panic, and just having panic attacks every day, and just feeling just absolutely depressed at this point, right? Like the depression became a symptom too, and almost
Yeah.
had thoughts of killing myself. And I've never been that way. I've never had any. I've always been strong-minded, happy person, and I just got to the point where it was going to kill me, like one way or the other. You know what I mean? Either I was going to try to finish it myself, or the stress alone was going to give me a heart attack. I don't know. Like, and I just, I'm trying so many different things, and finally, I just decided that I was just going to let it go, and that's when I started slowly moving to where I am now. So I, I don't want to say calm is the one factor that cured me, but it's definitely helped me in so many ways. So for me, I'm very call me a conspiracy theorist, call me what you will. I'm very anti big pharma,
Hmm.
anti doping myself up to feel better. Like, yeah, it's an easy approach for some people, but I have a sustained fear and like distaste for that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find a natural approach, something that could help me. I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was younger, and I've always been cool with natural medicine.
Yeah.
And so when I came across Calm, I saw your ad and I read a bunch of reviews, and I'm like, man, this sounds like something that I could do. Like, I don't want to take Xanax or any of these different things. Sorry, I shouldn't say names. I don't know if that's copyrighted or whatever, but I shouldn't take any of these other big pharmaceutical pills because I just
Yeah.
didn't feel it was right for me. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
So when I came across Calm, I started reading reviews, and it sounded like, man, like this could help me. And I got some, I started taking it, and it didn't work. A couple
Yeah.
weeks. I'm like, oh shit, man, another thing. I've tried another thing, it didn't work. And so I just chalked it up to like maybe, and then I remember I called you or text you, and I said,
Yeah.
man, this, I just don't know. He's like, well, just give it a little longer, do this and take a break if you need to.
Hmm.
And I got back on it, man. And since then I mean, it's helped me. It's not a cure, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
fix the anxiety because the anxiety is going to be there. It helps you manage it. It helps
Yeah.
you figure out how to do things that you need to do to manage these symptoms and
Mhm.
not send you into a full panic and a weird, and it's helped me it gives me, it's almost like, I hate to keep using this reference because I don't want to like taint your product, but it's almost like whenever I used to smoke weed, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's pros and cons, but like some of the pros were like it motivates me, it focuses me. And this does the same thing. It focuses me to let go of all the inner weird thoughts and just like do what I need to do to be better. You know what I mean?
That's well, because when I smoked marijuana in the past, it puts me in the opposite. I actually go
Right.
into near panic mode, and it's the THC. And but then it's cool because like they're sister herbs. Like back in thousands of years ago, hemp and marijuana came from the same plant. Um,
Right.
and then the difference became the THC content. And similar to like how there's medicinal mushrooms, and then there's psychedelic mushrooms that have psilocybin in there, right?
Right.
They like I'm sure they share the same ancestry, but then they just evolved in a different way. And then that one chemical, psilocybin in mushrooms and THC in hemp and marijuana, it can it it affects different people differently. Like for example, it made me panic.
Sure.
Gave me the panic attack, but it doesn't mean that marijuana doesn't have the other components that might be beneficial to us. So like the polyphenols, the
Yes.
phytochemicals, the terpenes, and things like that. So there are medicinal components in there. It's just when I think it's just when like nowadays they like GMO it or they make it like super strong, and then that super high amount of THC can be very toxic. But
Yeah, it's not good. It's not in sync with the evolution of our brains. It's too much.
yeah, and I want to circle back on your healing process, but before
Okay.
I do that, I wanted to comment on because I've spoken with maybe like thousands of customers who have come from a similar boat, and I've also spoken with therapists, psychologists, and psychiatrists. And the way I kind of view mental health is like where when we're younger, it might just be culture, or it might just be because you have to be like a male or something like that. But we
Yeah.
aren't taught to speak about anxiety or mental health or things like that. And
Hmm.
we are also not taught in school or in the healthcare system on how to heal your mental health. So we just end up kind of suppressing things. Now, when you suppress things, it doesn't go away. And then when you don't, and you might not feel it building up, but then it starts to slowly build up. And after years and decades, one small thing happens, and then it's the straw that broke the camel's back. And then that's when people experience their first panic attack. And at that
Yep.
point, it's not that, oh, that one panic attack is creating all these symptoms, but then it's the buildup of the symptoms that happened beforehand. Now,
Totally agree.
I and we're about to do a deep dive into your healing process because I have so many others who are in a similar boat. They just had their first panic attack and their life just completely changed. And when that happened, I know you tried a lot of different things. So let's go in chronological order. What were some of the first things that you incorporated to help turn things around?
Okay, so I guess first, the what you internally me, my whole thought process is like it's natural when something's wrong with you to fix it, right? So you want like that's the way that we are wired. Like so, n- naturally looked within, right? I was unhealthy. I wasn't eating right. I was smoking cigarettes a lot. Um, I was not working out. And I've always been an athletic person in my younger years, but I just kind of got into a lazy part of life, right? I'm not eating right, I'm not working out, I'm spending too much time on screens, just an unhealthy lifestyle. And so my first thing was like, okay, I'm gonna start eating healthy. I'm gonna cut out seed oils and all this stuff
Mhm.
that you see, like all the things, sugar, maybe like because at this point I don't know what's wrong with me, right? So I'm still having all these weird worrying like, oh my God, do I have diabetes? Do I have cancer? Do I have this? Do I have that? So everything kind of broke through for me once I went to the doctor and got a blood test and realized that I'm not sick physically. Like there's nothing wrong with me. So then my brain was able to internalize, okay, well, if there's nothing wrong with you, then it has to be a mental health thing. Like nothing's causing this. So stop looking for it. Stop trying to figure that out because that's keeping me stuck in that mode, right? The constant scrolling and doom and trying to figure it out was so I did that, and then I got involved in a therapy exposure therapy program with a
Mhm.
really great doctor. I don't know if I should mention her name or not, but um she
You could give your doctor a shout out. I think.
yeah, Dr. Seaton out of Colorado. She's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
She has the really extensive program that was all about exposure therapy, right? So it's
Uh-huh.
putting me back into living life without being afraid of it. And I got bad, dude. I got to where like I couldn't drink a glass of water left out because I thought somebody had poisoned it. Like I'm having weird like
Yeah.
stuff all the time. And my shampoo, is it making me sick? Is the hard water? Like every little thing that you could possibly think of was sending me into a panic struggle every day of my life. And a lot of it is to do with like, being on the internet and seeing like all these videos, oh, like, oh man, you can't wear this certain material because it's toxic for you, or you can't use air fresheners. And like all this shit was like making me feel like sick and scared.
Yeah.
So her exposure was like, you know what? Have a cigarette. Yeah, I don't want you to smoke cigarettes because it's unhealthy for you, but smoke one and realize that that's not what's giving you anxiety. Use a shampoo. Do that. Like eat a chili dog, a burger, like eat some French fries. It's okay. That's not doing it. And then once I started doing that and realizing that none of these things were causing it, I was able to really get into like trying to fix it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's when at this point I'd already been taking the calm, and like I said, it wasn't really working, but
Yeah.
it wasn't making me feel bad either. Like it wasn't, I didn't,
Yeah.
there was no
Yeah.
negatives to it. It just, but once I realized what I needed to do to heal myself, that's when the calm really helped me, because now it's like quieting the inner intrusive thoughts, right? Like I take it
Hmm.
in the morning. So what I do every day is I get up, I do breathing exercises, Wim Hof breathing exercises.
Hmm.
Every day, I ground in the sun for 15, 20 minutes with bare feet.
It's okay.
And then I
Okay.
take a cold shower. I take a 3-minute cold shower
Oh,
every day. I've
yeah.
been doing it for 6 months now.
We have the same routine, except I don't do the shower part. I just dunk my face in cold water. But
Okay, well,
I love it.
level
Okay.
up. Try the cold shower, man. It's
I've,
hard, but it's so
I,
good once you do it. Like it's equally
yeah.
the hardest and the best thing I do every day.
I've done like a handful of cold showers. I've done it for like a month straight. But yeah, it's definitely like when things are like super super bad, I just go in there and I just go like I'm gonna put myself through pain, and
Man,
it's like it's a good trade off for that 1 minute of pain for how you feel afterwards. It's definitely one of my reset tools.
I've gotten to
But
the point now to where it's not even pain for me. Like I look forward to it. Like I took a cold shower earlier. Like I kind of want to take another one here in a little bit. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just wired weird. I don't know, but like I love
yeah.
it. And so that's my routine. And then from there, I eat a little bit of food, nothing big, like a maybe like a little bit of avocado or some almonds,
Hmm.
something very light, protein and fat. And then I take a big scoop of calm about 10:30.
And
And
then
and then so during that time in the every morning I have high cortisol levels or whatever it is, and I have a
mhm.
little bit of anxiety, right? Like I'm every morning I wake up and I'm like, oh God, here we go again. By the time I get to the step of taking the calm and about 30 minutes after, I'm a different person. And back to me. I'm who I feel like I am before all this shit happened. And like I said, I don't think it's the calm itself curing it, but it's a stack and it's a big tool to help
Mhm.
you heal yourself.
You're 100% right. I don't believe karma is a solution. I don't think any supplement or any
Nothing.
medication out there is a solution, nor do I think any single activity is a solution. I think our mental health, for example, if it's at a negative 10 out of 10, each activity, like a scoop of calm, getting the exercise, cleaning up the diet, sun,
Levels it
cold
up.
shower, it adds 1 or 2 points. Some of the activities add more points than others, which is why I always emphasize you need to have multiple tools. And the thing is, calm, even if you had a single tool that actually did go from the negative 10 to a 10, now your mental health is just you're relying on this one single thing. And in life you never want to put all of your eggs in one basket,
No,
right?
you don't. Because
So
then you
imagine
too
you
dependent on that.
yes. And that's another problem of itself. So I I love it. Now, the healing process, it's and oh, I also wanted to comment on like the time it takes for calm to kick in. It's going to vary person to person, right? There's 8 billion of us. We all have different symptoms. We all have different severity of symptoms. We have different genetics, different height, different weight, and things like that.
Sure.
So definitely, it does take. It varies person to person, but I'm glad that for you, you said it kind of kicked in around the fourth week mark, or was it third
So,
week?
so like the first couple weeks of taking it
Yeah.
was in a really bad place. I
Hmm.
was a 10 of 10, right?
Yeah.
So I think I just wasn't able to process it correctly at that point. I needed to get a little bit farther in my healing journey
Hmm.
to really feel and be aware of the benefits.
Got it.
Because I
Are
didn't, at
you?
that point, it was like, nothing's helping me. I'm stuck, you know, I'm broken.
Yeah.
And then once I realized that I wasn't broken, I wasn't stuck, that I could get out of it, it was like that catapult that like helped me so tremendously. And I love it, dude. I love the way I feel. I'm not high at all. I am, in a sense, enlightened, right? Like I feel better. Like a weight has been lifted off of me when I'm not. It's not that heavy,
Yeah.
like burdening feeling. It almost kind of it leaves like pressure. Like it lets you just accept like things are what they are. And the biggest part of my learning in this journey, the one of the things that really probably most profoundly helped me more than anything was realizing that you can't fix anxiety. You can't figure out what
Mhm.
caused it. You just have to accept it and learn how to deal with it. And that sounds scary, I know, but when you're in that place of panic, that's not what you want to hear. But once you realize that, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, dude, like we are, like we've evolved to have anxiety. It,
Mhm.
it, it was there for a reason, like to keep us from getting eaten by saber-toothed tigers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's a necessary thing. We're supposed to have it. It's just at some point you have to learn how to deal with it, right? Like instead of
Yeah.
sending me into a spiral and like making me now I just realize, okay, my body's just telling me to be cautious or be, on alert. Something's wrong. There's a
Mhm.
saber-tooth tiger around. I need to make sure I don't get eaten.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I 100% agree with you on that. I as a person who struggled with mental health, both depression and anxiety since I was for as far back as my memories go,
Yeah.
it's your relationship with it changes. So it's like
Hmm.
you stop trying to fight it and get rid of it completely, but then it's just like your height. Let's say I didn't like how tall I was. I'm not gonna live my whole life complaining about my height and just hating on my height. I just kind of learn how to enjoy life with the height I have. Right, this is
Right.
something that's not changeable.
You just
And
become the best
although
short person you could be.
some something like that, right? And then like
Yeah.
although like anxiety, we can like kind of learn how to minimize it. Like it happens on the spectrum. Like our anxiety levels changes day to day. For I feel like for those of us who do struggle with mental health, it never truly goes away. We just learn how to manage it better, and we just gonna go like, oh, the anxiety is there, but despite the like, I woke up today feeling 10 out of 10 anxious, but despite that, I'm gonna go and put my face under cold water. I'm gonna get my sun in. I'm gonna try to move the needle from the -10 to hopefully by the end of the day, I can bring it somewhere in the middle or maybe somewhere a little bit better, right?
Right.
When
Totally agree.
you how so how long did your healing process, like your journey, take from like
So
the time of the panic attack until
it's
yeah
kind of a blur to me. Like I don't really know,
yeah of
right? Like
course.
over a year, over a year. Like so
Mhm.
it all comes back to this time that I told you I had that first panic attack. I was at a
Mhm.
casino alone, a little bag full of money. And I thought somebody drugged me because I didn't know why am I feeling so weird? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So that was my initial thought process. And then the EMTs came and checked me out. They said, "You're fine. It's just anxiety." I'm like, "There's no way this is anxiety. I'm dying." And it caused
Yeah.
this huge, crazy panic attack. And from that moment, it just started happening. Like I would go to I go get some food with my girlfriend, and like 1 second I'm fine, the next second I'm like, I don't know where I'm at. What's going on? I need to go home and lay down and curl up in the fetal position. And it just became this cycle. And so, like, I think it's different from you, like, or someone who's like had it off and on their whole life. Mine was
Yeah.
very onset, so I wasn't prepared at all. Like, so it hit me very
Yeah.
hard because I didn't know how to deal with it. I've never dealt with this before. You know, I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. I'm dying.
Yeah.
And so through that journey over a year or so, like there was peaks and valleys, right?
Of course.
And it would get better, and then
Mhm.
be like, okay, I'm cured, I'm out of it. And then
Yeah.
and sometimes that was the biggest setback as anything is like feeling good because now I know that like once it started coming, I'm like, oh man, it's gonna come back again. I know it. Like I could never be happy in this moment because I knew it was coming back. You know what I mean?
It's
And
always
so
in the
over the
back of your
yeah,
head. It's like
and then
nagging at you. It's like a little devil, right?
I don't know if you're familiar with Claire Weeks. She's an author from the '60s, a doctor that
Mhm.
does a lot on like health. But anyways, one of her things that she talks about is holding on to the rope, dropping the rope. So when you're holding on to that rope, it's
Mhm.
it's like natural, right? You're trying so hard to not
Yeah.
leave, to not die, to fix it, everything. But that in turn is causing so much stress and tension internally. So once you finally let go of the rope and just accept it, it is what it is. It's a weight lifted off you. You're free. You're happy. You're able to deal with it now. Like you're not struggling so hard to fight to fix it. You know, and that helped me more than anything. And the calm helped me let go of the rope.
And then you found out that you were just 6 inches off the air, and that's how I imagined
Exactly.
it. It's
Yes.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Exactly. Right. I'm fighting so
it feels
hard
like
to not fall,
holding on.
and then once you let go, you're just like, oh wait, I'm good. You
Yeah,
know.
I love that analogy. Do you are there any other tools? So over the course of the years, I'm assuming you started stacking on the different tools, right? Like you said, the cold shower,
Yeah.
the cleaning up the night, and things like that. What are some other tools you can share with someone who might be
So,
watching this?
like I said, I was really unhealthy, right?
Hmm.
So I was eating shitty. Like, I'm sorry, excuse my language. I was eating bad. Um, fast food. And I've always liked healthy food, but I just got in the habit of convenient, easy. So
Hmm.
then once I tried to cut out sugars. I stopped drinking sodas.
There you go.
Um, I started only drinking water and like iced tea here, stuff here and there. Try to cut out caffeine too, because that's kind of
Hmm.
messed me up with my anxiety. I've never been a big coffee drinker, it's just not me.
Hmm.
So that initially propelled me into physically getting a lot healthier, right? Like just
Hmm.
cutting out those sugars. I lost, 10, 15 pounds. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm starting to feel good. I'm starting to like how I look. So
Hmm.
now I'm working out. Now I'm doing yoga every day. Now I'm, exercising, things that I've always done that just kind of got away from in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thought maybe I was too old, like I don't know. Who knows, Who knows why, but I got lazy.
Yeah.
So once I started eating healthy and exercising, and now 3 months since then, I've lost 50 pounds.
50.
50. So I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'1". I went
Hmm.
from two 235 to 185.
Nice.
And
Congrats. That's
I'm stable at 185 for about 3 or 4 months
Yeah.
in.
It's diet is a huge one. People don't
It's huge.
usually interlink diet to mental health, but then sugars and just like processed foods and fast foods and things like
Yeah.
that. I'm not going to go into like the crazy science behind it, but then it causes inflammation in the body. And when your body gets
Yes.
inflamed, one part that gets inflamed is your brain. And when your brain gets
Mhm.
inflamed, everything's bad, from brain fog to fatigue to mental health struggles and things like that. So just cleaning up the diet
Mhm.
is a huge one. And
Agree.
if everyone else who's watching and just curious on like what are my first few steps for improving my mental health, I would say it's always diet, sleep, and exercise. Those three
Yep.
things. There's not a single person in the world who cannot benefit from these three things. Yeah,
Totally agree with you. 100%.
yeah. So when you
Also, I would, I
started
would,
your
I would also include grounding. I don't know.
grounding
If,
techniques,
yeah, because I don't know. There's something about just being in contact with the energy of the earth and
yeah,
the sun, having the sun on your face, and maybe
yeah,
not too much. You don't want to get sunburned or whatever, but just being outside and being barefoot in the grass or
yeah,
touching a tree or just feeling that natural rhythm that you're supposed to have helps
yeah.
too a lot. Like,
Can you share what how you specifically do your grounding technique? So it sounded like you take off your shoes and you touch
okay.
trees, or what do you
So
specifically do?
so what I like I told you my entire routine, right? I wake up, first
Yeah.
thing I do within within 10 minutes of waking up is
Mhm.
I drink a glass of water with a little bit of Celtic sea salt, pinch
Yeah.
of salt for
Electrolytes.
electrolytes,
Yeah.
and I get hydrated, and then I do my breathing, 3 rounds of intense breathing and breath holds, and then from there I go into the cold shower. And I get out of the cold shower, I go outside, and exactly where I'm at right here, I have a little chair, and I positioned it all the way to the end of the grass. And I take my shoes off, and I sit barefoot, and I just kind of, I don't know if I meditate, but I just
Soak in the
become,
sun.
soak in the sun, take my feet
Mhm.
on the ground, and then I do that for as long as I need to. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 10, 20. And then I get up
Yeah.
and I just kind of walk around barefoot in my grass. I have a beautiful backyard. I go around
Yeah.
and I view the flowers and the trees and I touch the earth and I just kind of get recharged. And that's just it. And then and then I go and I eat a little bit of avocado and take my calm. And then as soon as
And
that
you're on
happens,
your way.
10 to 15 minutes after that, I'm you, baby.
Yeah, that's cool. What did you notice your sleep improving when you
Yeah.
started doing the okay?
So
Because
one thing I left out. So I don't take a lot
yeah,
of supplements. I literally only take a few things. Um, but I take magnesium at night.
perfect. That's good.
Glycinite, magnesium
Hmm.
glycinite. I take that before I go to bed. It helps me sleep better. I also have
Yeah.
a grounding mat on my bed. There's so many different places you can
On
buy
top.
them. So it goes in between. It's like it goes
Yeah.
under the in between the sheet. So
Okay.
where you're laying on it, but then you put the
Yeah.
blankets over you,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I
Got
sleep
it.
with that every night. And since then, my sleep has improved a lot. I
Yeah.
don't sleep through all this. I know it's not for everyone, but like I never had a problem with sleep. If anything, I slept too much. Like when I was in depression,
Yeah. Hmm.
it was like I felt bad because I slept 10 hours. You know what I mean? Like, and now you're just like, oh, I'm lazy, and
Yeah.
you start beating yourself up over it. You know what I mean? So my sleep
Yeah.
has never been an issue. I've always been able to go to sleep and get sleep. I have a hard time falling asleep, but once I'm there, I'm a rock. Like, you know what I mean?
That's good. Cool. I think it's the accumulation of everything else that also helps with the sleep quality. Just like the grounding technique you do, being out in the sun. There's the two things that helps with is vitamin D. Right now in our society, like I think I saw like a statistic where like the vitamin D levels for like an average person is super low, and when that also
Hmm.
affects mental health. and our
Sure.
circadian rhythms are messed up. And then just being under the sun for 10 minutes, it really helps with that down the line and tells your body it's time to wake up, it's time to go to sleep, and things like that.
Yep.
Um, well, right now, how is life for you right now? I know it's been a very difficult past year.
It's a
What's
lot
the
better.
up? Mm-hmm.
It's a lot better. It's been a journey and it's been a process. And throughout this process, I never had these grand ideas or wishes. I just wanted the main thing is man, I just want to feel young. Just want to be me. And it was never like, oh, I want to be rich or I want this or that, the other. Like, I'm fine. I have everything I need. I just want to be normal. And every day I'm progressing towards that. And even if it's not steady, I'm having glimpses of it. And so that's like fuel, right? Like once you feel good, like okay, man, I'm back. Like, and you build confidence and not do that. So like I said, the anxiety never goes away. It's just how you deal with it, right? Like it goes away to an
Mm-hmm.
extent. Like instead of like, oh my God, I don't feel right, I'm dying. It's like, yeah, I see you. I see you, anxiety. You're there, but you don't control me anymore. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
there you
You know,
go.
like
Mhm.
I see you. I got you. You're there, but you're not.
I'm still gonna live my life with you there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I'll be all right. So I
there you
think
go.
I've come a long way, dude. And it was to a point where I wasn't excited about life. I was scared and worried and frightened and tired.
Hmm.
And I've come back to where like I want to do things that I want to do again. Like I want to go play a big poker tournament and be around thousands of people, and I want to go fishing and just go do things that I like to do without being afraid of. I mean, I couldn't drive down the street and go to the grocery store.
Hmm.
I was, I was scared of everything, dude. So every day is a like, okay, let me go get let me go to the grocery store and pick up something. And it's you test yourself a little bit every day, and then that's the exposure, right? The exposure. Dinner with my girlfriend and having dinner, and like before, that was impossible for me. I know it sounds silly to people who don't understand it, but like it was impossible. There was no way I could do that. What I wanted
Hmm.
to do was be at home in the fetal position on the couch and just suffering. But that keeps you stuck. You have to get out there. You have to face these things. You have to do it and realize that that's not what's causing this. And then you're back to like, okay, if something happens, I'll be like, do it. Having a panic attack, what to do? Done it before, been through it. You just every day you're building confidence in yourself. You know?
Yeah, yeah. The first, I think, around 8 years. One of the hardest lessons I've learned in mental health is that it does not improve on its own. You can't
Mhm.
wait until you're feeling better for you to start incorporating all the activities. Like if you just lie
Yeah.
there, it's not going to improve on its own. I lied on the bed and didn't do anything for like the first 8 years, waiting for the day when I will feel better, magically feel better. It doesn't work like that. I say this with love to everyone out there who might be in that situation, but you just have to do something. It doesn't, you don't have to
Hmm.
go and lift an elephant, go and touch a tree, clean your room, just something and move, do
Make the
something
bed.
different. Make your bed. Yeah, something
Yep.
small and make it a little bit bigger the next time, a little bit bigger next time. Just like you said, it's baby steps, right? There's no jump that's going to take you 100 miles into your journey. You just got to take it one step at a time and gradually and see things week by week. Because if you go day by day, there's going to be some days when you're like, oh, everything I did just didn't work, and you're going to stumble, right? And it's like that jaggedy upwards growth. But you have to try to compare things like, is this week better than last week? And is the next week going to be better than this week? And try kind of zoom out as you kind of analyze your mental health journey. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and to even further your point, I think you said week by week. I think sometimes you got to get minute to minute.
Minute to
Every
minute.
minute of yeah, like just every minute of your life, just try to do things that are going to help you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't have to be like you don't have to always be lifting an elephant, but just baby, like every day, just be intentional. And then once you start doing it and realizing you can do it, the confidence grows. So now I can only do this. Now I can do this. And now I can do this. And now I can do
Yeah.
this. And before you know it, like, yeah, let's go to a concert. I don't care. Like, yeah, let's go. I want to be normal. You know what I mean? So I can
Yeah.
only imagine how hard it was for you for 8 years dealing with that. Like I only dealt with it for a year and a half, and it just killed me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand, dude. I don't understand as hard as you've dealt with it, but I mean, I can only be so empathetic. And I've noticed this from you, just for anybody that doesn't know, James is like the best owner of a company I've ever dealt with in any experience I've ever had with somebody who owns a company because it's not about profit, right? Which i- in capitalism and the culture that we live in, that's what everything's based on. But with him, he, I genuinely feel compassion, concern, wanting to help. And that's what it's about for him because the reason that he's doing it is because he's experienced it. He wants to help you, not he wants to make money from you. He wants you to feel better. And that's where he gets his value. It's not in making money from you, it's in fixing or helping you fix yourself. And I felt that from you from day one. And that's what helped me. I told you I'm an untrusting person. I have a disdain for a lot of things. You know, I don't trust the big pharmaceutical companies. I don't trust doctors. I don't, it is who I am. And I don't care. I don't apologize for it. I
Mhm.
don't feel bad because of it. So when you really get somebody that you deal with that's like there and you realize that they're there for the right reasons, it makes you feel a lot more comfortable and helps you progress, you know. So I appreciate you, you know. There was a lot of times where man, I was in the thick of it and I text James and he's like giving me words of wisdom, encouragement, and I could just tell that he cared, you know. And sometimes you just need somebody to care about you and relate to because
Mhm.
they're like while this is all going on, you're normal to everybody else. They just see you as the person that they don't understand that you're on fire inside.
Mhm.
You know, they don't understand that your whole body is a tornado inside of you. They just see you as like, oh, you're just a person in the world, you know? So then once you have somebody to relate to you and like know, like, man, I know what you're going through, it helps you feel better about it. I don't know, in some way. So I appreciate you. It's also made me more empathetic. And now I want to help. That's the reason I'm doing this podcast. Like I want people to listen to my story and see the things that I've done and be like, man, there's hope, you know? Because the worst thing you could do is be hopeless. And I was there. So I appreciate you, James.
I appreciate you for sharing that, Dean. We're finding so many common points because the lowest rock bottom points in our lives, there's a silver lining in it, in which we came out the other end. We're like, I know how that feels, and I want to help
Yeah.
as many people get out of that. And that's essentially why I do Calm, because I've I was in this journey for a very long time, and I was in the bottom for a very long time. But and when I hear stories like this, it was just complete transformation. This is what fuels me to go out and just help one more person out there who's struggling, right?
Yeah, man.
Well,
It's beautiful. It makes
now,
me
Dean,
cry, dude. Like I'm it's
your
awesome, dude.
story
Like,
is really beautiful as well, man. I know someone watching out there. This is definitely going to move some people, and there's going to be 1 year ago, Dean, watching this. Someone out there who's in that exact same shoes. They just had their panic attack. They feel hopeless, and they're gonna hear this, and they're gonna be motivated to take those first few steps and understand that what they're going through, it's okay. Like everything's Like even if it feels like you're dying, like it's okay. You're not broken. It's and sometimes we can't control where we start in life, but then we can for sure control what the next step is going to be, what the next chapter is going to be, how we're going to write our story moving forward. And that healing
Yeah.
process, it's hard. Like you go through days, weeks, and sometimes even months, or sometimes even years without feeling feeling the change. Like I'm doing all these things. Why am I not feeling the change?
Yeah.
And there's gonna be many times when you want to give up, but we're here to tell you, like, just the one thing you just have to not do is never give up.
Don't
Just
give
keep
up.
at it, and things will change will follow. Just have to keep at it, right?
Agree 100%. Don't give up. Keep
Yes,
fighting.
sir. Yes, sir. Well, Dean, I want to wrap this up with three
Okay.
speed round questions just to throw a curveball at you. You ready for this?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Cool. What is the most craziest or most adventurous thing you have ever done in your life?
That's a hard question, man. I could say like some physical things like jumping off of cliffs and landing in the
Yeah,
water, or, you know, maybe going through anxiety. I
yeah,
mean, that was a crazy thing. It was an experience, right? It put me right on the edge of death, or I felt that way.
yeah.
Um, Maybe quitting my job and pursuing a life of poker, following
I would say
my
that.
heart. Yeah, like that was a crazy thing, and I just went with it. Did it. So
Yeah.
all these little things here and there, I guess.
No, I would completely. I would take that answer because I've. For me to start calm, I had to quit my day job too. That was the
Yeah.
scariest thing,
Oh, it's a
and
leap of faith, right? Especially when you've
it's
invested like, I went to college, I invested my life like into this like
yeah,
thought of being involved in corporate America, and then I just kind of decided, you know what? That ain't for me. I don't want to work 80 hours a week and have a bunch of money and not have any time to enjoy my life. So I changed it. You can still do all the things. It's not work when you enjoy it.
yeah. Agree with that. Question number two: if you can move to any place in the world, and money doesn't exist in this fictional world, where would it be?
Man, that's a good one.
Yeah,
So, like, I know that most people's answer would probably be like somewhere tropical, which that'd be
uh,
cool, but I would want to be somewhere in the mountains, somewhere with
Mount,
lots of trees and rivers and maybe the ocean, maybe like rural British Columbia or Alaska. I don't know, something like that. Like that's where I ideally would like to be.
when you said
Go
that, I just thought of
fishing
like
every day.
Alaska.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you watch Outdoor Boys by any chance on YouTube? It's
No,
like
but
a
I'm familiar with a bunch of that stuff.
okay,
Grew
okay,
up- I grew up going to the mountains in northern New Mexico, and
yeah,
a bunch of there. And it's just some in me that just loves that. Share the the flowers and the smells and the sound of the river roaring, and just I don't know. That's just peaceful nature to me.
yeah. Being away from all the electronics, you don't realize how much
Yes.
noise there is in the city until you're truly in nature. And I haven't gone much recently, but I'm actually an Eagle Scout, so I used to go camping every month. So I know
Yeah.
how peaceful nature can be.
How about the
Uh,
sky? How about the sky with no
the
city lights around?
stars.
It'll blow your mind.
When yeah, completely blows your mind. Cool. Question number three. If you can talk to younger Dean 1 year ago who just had his panic attack, you could give him one message. What would it be?
Well, I would tell him to trust himself. Don't look for the answers so much as just trust yourself. Trust your body is capable. They're resilient machines that If you do the right things and trust yourself, you will get yourself to where you need to be. And be afraid to ask for help. Be afraid to be vulnerable. Be afraid to, you know, not trust either. Because sometimes that, I would tell him that just be cautious, but be free. Like, don't try to figure it out too much. Just trust yourself, trust your instincts, and, and trust your gut. If somebody's going to help you or not, you'll know. And if they're not, if they're just about to fit and wanting to, then you'll know. You'll realize that. Don't
Mhm,
become susceptible. Because I see this all the time with people that go through this stuff. There's a lot of people out there that are greedy and want to capitalize on your pain. And
mhm.
don't worry about all that stuff. When you come in contact with somebody like James, you feel it, trust that instinct. Go with that.
I love it, Dean.
Me
Well,
too, man.
you this you
And
shared. Oh, go ahead.
so before we wrap up, I had a couple questions for you, James.
Go ahead.
So I know through talking about this, you have kind of like, you say everybody's routine isn't, but from your experience with the medicine with Calm,
Hmm.
you said take one big scoop in the morning. Basically, that's the ideal approach, right? Mm. What what about somebody like me who like I don't know, but I've had thoughts of taking more. Is, is that detrimental? Is that going to hurt my progress? Is that going to, because like some days I take in the morning and then by, 4 or 5 at night, I kind of having a crash and I'm feeling, like, would it be okay to take another scoop? I mean, I'm just kind of curious.
Short answer, yes. You can take as much as you need. On my rougher days, I actually take like three, four, five. I find that just like how your first, you don't drink caffeine, but then when you did drink coffee back in the days, your first cup of coffee hits the hardest, right? And then like your subsequent ones kind of taper off. It's similar. Calm is very similar to that. Your first scoop definitely hits the hardest. And then for me personally, around that fifth scoop ish, it kind of just tapers off. Now,
Mhm.
the one scoop is just a suggested one because I kind of left it. There's not a one size fits all solution that's going to work on every single person. And in the beginning, I left the directions kind of vague. It's like take as needed, but then when someone's taking something new, it's a little bit easier for them to follow more specific set of directions. But then, so
Sure.
I actually recommend as soon as the calming kicks in and things are starting to turn, you can play around with your scoop size. You can split them up. You can take extra ones. You can take smaller ones just to see what works best for you. And our anxiety levels also vary day by day. So on my rougher days, I take more scoops, and on my better days, I take less. So you can honestly, there's no harm to taking additional scoops if that was if that may have been a question in your mind. You can take as much or as little as you need to help you get through the day.
Yeah, I just wanted to know that because I've thought about
Yeah,
it many times and I never really asked you. I was like, yeah, but there's a lot of days where about 4 or 5 o'clock, I kind of have a crash and I
yeah.
just was like, man, maybe I'll take another scoop. I kind of
Go ahead.
flirted with it here and there, but yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I take my current routine is I take the big scoop in the morning, and at lunch I do another pick me up scoop, and then that's like most days. But then on my rougher days, I'll take a bunch of half scoops in between, and if I was on the computer for 16 hours straight working, like I'll take a Zen body
Sure.
to calm me down at night. But yeah, there's if you go for it, brother. There's no harm.
Okay, cool. That
You
was it,
have
man.
awesome. Well, Dean, this is truly a story where it's like of you taking back your life. There's no other way for me to describe this. And as I mentioned earlier, this is, I know there's going to be people out there who just get moved by this and just going to be motivated to take those first few steps. And I really appreciate you hopping on, brother. And yeah, if
Appreciate you,
you,
James.
I
Appreciate you,
appreciate
man.
you.
Appreciate
Well,
you. I appreciate the journey. I really, truly, genuinely hope that this story will help people. And
mhm,
if anything, it helps me. Yeah.
it will help people. I know for sure. I know for sure. If anyone watching, you guys have a question for Dean, leave it down in the comments. I'll go ahead and try to grab some answers from him through text messages, and I'll answer for his stead, since I'm not going
Okay.
to share your cell phone online. But yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And Dean, have an awesome rest of your day, brother.
The light and all the love. Peace.